adult sexual bedtime stories, where we bring sensual bedtime stories to your bedstand. Now we bring letters to you from people who actually wrote them. This is real life, written sexual stories from various people. Our next story comes to us from Camden, New Jersey by FT, and his story is an enlightening encounter. I hope you enjoy it. 2 weeks ago, I was placed temporarily on emergency transport duty at the prison where I work. It's okay if it's your regular assignment, but when it's not, you find yourself getting phone calls at odd hours for trips to the hospital or wherever, and it can mess up your best laid plans. One night in particular, my beeper vibrated when I was in the middle of securing myself a hot piece of ass I had been chasing for about a month. I was stretched back on the sofa, and she had her hand inside my pants, trying to work my hard cock free of my shorts, when my beeper went off. Fuck. Checking it, I saw the number was from the prison, and there was a priority code behind it. There was no way to get around the alert. The prison had provided us the beepers for just such emergencies. For me not to call in was asking for 3 to 5 days off without pay. Extracting myself from the sofa and Tracy's grip, I called in. I didn't even have time for the quick blowjob the babe offered up. Turns out there had been a small uprising in one of the cell blocks, and they were shipping the ringleaders out ASAP. Checking in, I was given the keys for one of the many transport vans and instructed to top off the tank and wait until my unit was called. I had not been given a partner, but that was the norm. Checking the van out of the motor pool, I drove it around to the staging area and waited. While I was waiting, my thoughts drifted back to Tracy, who was an incredible piece of ass. She worked as an aerobics instructor in the gym, where I trained 3 times a week. She was the whole package. And from our conversations, there wasn't a no in her vocabulary when it came to sex. Closing my eyes, I thought about the way she looked in her mid-thigh leotards, and it gave me the most incredible boner, which my partner saw as soon as she opened the passenger door. Wow, they told me I had it going on, but I didn't think I could do it long distance, Pam said, storing her gear and climbing in. I apologized, explaining that my mind was somewhere else, and she assured me she understood. We were still sitting and waiting an hour later, while we listened to the other units being called around to the transport garage to load up. Another 10 minutes passed, and the remaining employees were told to stand down, but to stay with their units. That translated into "it's over, but be ready just in case," meaning we were stuck in the vans for the remainder of the shift. I drove us to an all-night diner a couple blocks away for sandwiches and coffee. Turning on the interior light, we ate and talked, and I took my first real look at my partner. I'd seen Pam around, but had never worked with her. She, like Tracy, was built like a brick shithouse. Her thighs were softer, but larger and filled up her uniform pants nicely. As I bit into my sandwich, I glanced sideways to try to see if all the filling beneath her blouse was tit or if she was wearing a vest. The conclusion I came to was that it was pure tit. With that, my imagination took the ball and ran with it. "Your mind still somewhere else?" Pam asked, looking directly at the bulge on the inside of my thigh. I considered lying, but my mouth said no. She giggled, reached up, and turned off the interior light. "It's not as light back there," Pam said, motioning toward the rear of the parking lot, and then casually dropping her hand into my lap. Starting the engine, I pulled the van into the darkest, emptiest part of the diner's lot and cut the engine. Opening her door, my partner rifled through her bag and came up with a condom. "Always," Pam smiled, climbing out of the van and moving around back. Turning the radio volume up so that we wouldn't miss a call, I locked the doors and joined her. She stood smoking, but tossed the cigarette away as I opened the back doors. "Give me a minute," Pam said, climbing into the back. I waited too, and climbed in behind her. It was too dark to make her out, but what I did see with the door open was enough. Pam had pulled her pants and panties down and slipped one leg completely out. She lay with her thighs spread, facing me. It took a few extra seconds in the dark for her to roll the rubber on me, and then she was guiding me into slick pussy. My partner was wet, and she was very ready. I fucked her, and she pumped back at me. She grabbed my ass and started slapping it with each thrust. Fuck. I had no idea what a turn-on spanking was. It was a short, fast, passionate fuck, and soon Pam was scratching at my back and sides. Thank goodness for the vest, as she climaxed hard. I was a minute or so behind her, and somehow I stayed erect. Pam went back up front to retrieve her pocketbook and the 4 other rubbers in it. Then we spent the rest of our shift in the van, finding ways to push each other's buttons. I soon discovered that she liked being on the receiving end of a little butt whacking too. As you can imagine, it turned into my best day at work ever. All right, what a day at work. I wish I could have been him. All right, if you like this story, please subscribe. I hope you enjoy it.